Please remember to like, subscribe, and never forget to ring that bell.
Welcome everybody to a very revealing show, The Masked Singer.
I know exactly who this is. God.
What is up, everyone? I'm Chris Knight, and you are watching The Real Review 3000 here with another episode of Unmasking the Masked Singer. And yes, Season 7, Episode 1, it's in the books. And let's talk about this really quick. I mean, this past week had a lot of weird things that went on. Let's talk about the Firefly having a choking fit. The McTerrier literally lost his head. I'm not sure if this is a direct effect of the production staff losing some key components of their staff, or if this is just a grab at dramatics, but it really seemed clunky. It just seemed off compared to how other seasons of The Masked Singer have felt. It just, I don't know. Just something off about it. And, you know, I'm hoping that it'll smooth out quickly, but we do know that this was recorded. Everything was recorded within just a few weeks, since we do hear about the Super Bowl in the past tense, as it's already been done. They already know who the Super Bowl winner was, everything like that. So that means everything was organized, shot, and taken care of between February 13th and probably early March, perhaps even late February. So that's only about 3 weeks to shoot, produce, and get the show out, which seems really rushed to me compared to past years. Past years, sometimes 2-3 months ahead of time, we hear about things. We hear certain, throwouts there of, what some of the masks might be. And, I guess sometimes you hear about people who might be on the show or guesses and stuff like that. This year didn't seem like they really got a lot of that out. A lot of the stuff that you normally get, the promotional stuff you get, didn't really seem to be as long out there as it used to be, or as it has been in the past. So I'm wondering if this just was really thrown together and rushed out there. Maybe that's part of why we saw what we saw this past week. Let's talk about the McTerrier real quick. If you didn't watch, the McTerrier was voted off. If you don't want to know because you haven't watched, stop the video right now, because spoiler warning, everything is spoiler on this show. That's what this show is about. It's helping you figure out who these people are. But since the McTerrier was already voted off, first performance, remember, we do not count that. We don't even guess on those because we normally don't have a lot of clues, or we don't have a lot of the information we need to guess who these people are. And that means, especially this year, since we didn't really get any of that until like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, it's really difficult. So we had to go off of everything we got in the clue packages last week. But that means we don't guess on first performances or first elimination. So since the McTerrier was voted off first, we don't guess on it. We don't count that against our guesses, and if we're right or wrong. But let's talk about it. McTerrier was Duff Goldman, Ace of Cakes, all that stuff. But when I was watching it and listening to the fake Scottish accent, which I think everybody knew was fake, a lot of the clue package kind of lended itself to Mike Myers, and even it was said by the judges. But I didn't think Mike Myers. I was kind of thinking when I saw that, I was like, he's playing the drums, got this Scottish accent that's fake, obviously, but it's playfully fake. And the axe murderer, the Mike Myers stuff that you kind of saw, I was like, Dana Carvey. He's friends with Mike Myers, or was. I don't know whether they're at now, but they were friends and all this stuff. I'm like, maybe it's Dana Carvey. So I thought that originally. But, looking back on it, let's just talk about three things from the clue package for the McTerrier. We saw the sheet cake. The sheet cake is a direct reference to his hit TV show, The Ace of Cakes. So right there. Then we saw the axe. The axe actually was probably in reference to Duff Goldman's appearance on Chopped All-Stars. And then the gold record is a direct reference to his last name, Goldman. So right there's three clues. Just give it off to you right there. Duff Goldman, no questions asked, because, well, they unmasked him. And I know he was talking about when he came off the drum riser, he fell there. That's when he went on his knees, and it kind of worked for the performance. But at the end, he says in an after the show interview that he found himself right there at the edge of the stage, and he realized he was about to fall off. So he made a quick move, and that's when his mask came off. And so, like I said, perhaps it wasn't set up. It just felt somewhat not natural, which I guess if you're about to fall and the mask comes off, that it isn't natural, but it's naturally not natural. So, whatever you want to say about that. But there are some edits out there, and in that interview, which I think is on Fox, their website, you actually do see the bald head and everything in one of those edit scenes after his mask came off. So, whatever. Now we got a lot of stuff to go over here, guys, with the Group A people who are left over, which is Thingamabob, Firefly, Ram, and Cyclops. That's who's left. So let's talk about them as quick as we can. Thingamabob. Who do we think it is? We think it's Jordan Mailata. Mailata, I think is how you say it. Now, the first weird thing about this was he didn't speak during his clue package. He just kind of showed it like a silent film. It was like, wow, interesting. So obviously, first thing I did was I was like, okay, let's look at everything here. We see a lot of Philadelphia and Eagle clues. So Philadelphia Eagles. So what I did is I started going through, saw the tackle box. I'm like, tackle, offensive tackle. Let's look up offensive tackle, defensive tackles. We went down that line, and I stumbled upon a video on the Philadelphia Eagles YouTube channel. It's called the Eagles Insider with Dave Sperato, and he actually interviews Jordan Mailata. Now, I was like, well, let's see if he has this just dead giveaway voice, which he alludes to. He says, his voice would give him away. And when you first hear it, he introduces Jordan, and Jordan's like, hey, how you doing? And it sounds really natural. It's like, okay, I guess this isn't right. This guy can't be it. And then he starts speaking a little bit longer, and an Australian accent just comes out from there. And it's like, oh my gosh, yes, that would give him away. So I'm like, right there, Eagle clues, the accent, all of that. I'm like, this is our guy. So I went in and looked a little harder. So like I said, all the Eagle clues are dead giveaway for this, because he's a Philadelphia Eagle. Hotel California, which is like one of the top selling albums of all time for the Eagles. And then the bald eagle alone right there. But also we saw Liberty Bell. I think we saw the Liberty Hall, but those are references to the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Also, we saw that there was a reference that he says he's out of his natural habitat. It's referenced somewhere in that package. And, well, he's an immigrant. He's from Australia, so very much out of his natural element. He came to the United States to play football. But what's funny is he used to play rugby. And that rugby team he was on was called the Bulldogs, which is showing the Bulldog. I mentioned the offensive tackle, the tackle box. The tackle box is a giveaway here, too. And then the rock clue, the music alone right here. Or the rock. The rock. Let's just talk about Dwayne Johnson. We'll talk about the song too, but let's say the rock clue. The rock clue of Dwayne Johnson. They're both Samoan. So the Samoan heritage thing right there. That's a giveaway also. But again, like I said, the song he sang, Wanted Dead or Alive, Bon Jovi. That is his favorite band. If you look it up, you'll find out. So yeah, right there. I mean, Jordan Mailata, that's who I think it is. And everything points to him, really. I mean, so what can we say? We'll see if he actually talks to us tomorrow. If he doesn't talk tomorrow, I'm going to stick with that. That Australian accent would give him away. So Yeah, Jordan Mulata is who we think Thingamabob is. Who's the Firefly? We think it's Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor, let's just go down. All New York clues, all those New York clues. Well, she was born in Harlem. So again, this is kind of here you go. Boom, right there. Harlem, New York, very much a great clue to give you to literally point right to her. But there's also the Apollo Theater. Well, she was on Showtime at the Apollo, which of course is in her hometown of Harlem. So boom, 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 right there. We're just building on these clues. Also, all the comedy clues are dead giveaway with her appearances in movies such as Medea's Big Happy Family, which is also explains that Tyler Perry clue. And then I guess this would be the dead giveaway of her clue packages, which she mentioned Fade. And she was in Kanye West's Fade music video. Now, also, The Crown is kind of a dead giveaway because it could point to a lot of different things, like her role in Coming to America, or perhaps her queen status in Doja Cat's Woman music video, or perhaps even her first major appearance. One of her first major appearances was on My Super Sweet 16. So that crown and that reference of royalty really builds on her. So we think the Firefly is Tiana Taylor. Now, God, I don't want to talk about this guy. Say what you will about this next person, the Ram. I do not like this guy, but he's going to get some more credit for going out there and doing this from me. I'm really going to say I'm kind of surprised he did it, but it's cool to see him do it. The Ram we think is Joe for lots of different reasons. First off, there's tons of football references in this, but let's just go off the fact that this is a Fox show. He was a Fox commentator. There's a lot of reports that he's going to go to ESPN, and we'll get to that here in just a minute after we talk about Cyclops. But let's keep talking about the Ram, Joe Buck. Again, there's all these football references, such as Hamlet x Macbeth. Now, people are like, what does that have to do with football? They're both play. So play x play, play by play. That's what he does. He's a play-by-play person for Fox Network, and he does football. Most people know him for football, but he also does the World Series occasionally here and there. And he's a baseball guy too. The Cardinals and the St. Louis Rams, things like that. Get more to that here in a minute. But anyways, that marquee is a direct reference to play-by-play, which he is. He's commentated in 6 Super Bowls, so that's accounting for all but one of the Super Bowl appearances that is in our master clue list. The number 6 shows up on a blue football helmet, which again is a reference to football, which he's a play-by-play analyst for. And the number 6 is how many Super Bowls he has commentated on. So right there, more football, building on the clues, all that stuff. The antlers are a direct reference to his last name. It's Buck. How more direct do you need to be? Also, you see him shaving. Well, he has admitted that when he's not on camera and it's the off season from what he's normally doing, baseball and football, he grows a beard. So the shaving is a reference to that, I believe, if you know that about him. Also, he mentions following in his dad's footsteps, which, well, his father was also a commentator. So play-by-play analyst, all that stuff. That's a direct thing right there. So easy to tell. Also, the costume, that's a dead giveaway, guys. It's a ram. And if you know anything, the Rams are now in LA, but they were in St. Louis, where Joe Buck was born. And he still is a big St. Louis guy. He loves St. Louis. He talks about St. Louis all the time. I am from Kansas City. I do not like Joe Buck. Maybe it's because he's from St. Louis. I don't know. But I will say this. If I'm right about this, if this is Joe Buck, he has just gained a lot more respect from me. And maybe I won't hate him. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about Cyclops. Now, like I said, we're going to get back to something about that ESPN Fox trade over for Joe Buck, because that's going to come in play here in just a minute. But let's talk about that Cyclops. This is a little more difficult, guys. There's a lot of things there. You're like, well, who is this? The singing isn't really a dead giveaway, but the clue packages do line up for somebody, and that's Michael Rooker. Let's just start here. The map with an X, the solar system, the rocket, and the comic book all could be referencing him being a space pirate in Guardians of the Galaxy. He says he's casted as a villain, which a lot of his characters may not be the major villain or a direct villain, but they're kind of villainous. But he's kind of villainous in Guardians, the Suicide Squad movie, the newer one, and The Walking Dead. So he has that villain-esque like casting that he gets a lot of times. And then the Southeast clue would definitely work for him because he's from Alabama. Then the popcorn could be a clue that he's an actor. Like the judges said, they didn't think he was a singer. They said they believe he was an actor. So that would be a reference to that. Also, let's talk about that robot clue. That robot clue could be the fact that he has lent his voice to several episodes of Robot Chicken. Robot right there. Now, the turtle in the cowboy hat could be referencing his role in the movie Tombstone. And lastly, if you look at that comic book, I believe it was a volume or episode or whatever, a volume or issue number, I believe it was 86. And the 86 would be referencing his first film appearance in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, which was released in 1986. So these clues do work for Michael Rooker. Now, I don't think that's going to be a big problem because I think we'll be able to dig into a little more on the Cyclops, the Firefly, and the Thingamabob, because I believe Joe Buck and the Ram will be the next person to be voted off. Why? Because, like I said, he is on Fox right now, or he had the Fox contract, but he is actually stepping over to ESPN. So that's probably going to happen here within the next couple of weeks. And if you remember the way I've theorized this lots of times, is these people are staged to leave at certain times. And if he's signing that contract and going to announce going over to ESPN this week, this would be the week he gets voted off. So I believe Joe Buck and the Ram is the one going home tomorrow. But you guys, let me know who you think these people are. Tell me down in the comments below and let me know who you think might be going home next. With all of that said, guys, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. You guys make this show so fun to do. And you guys really have been giving me a lot of good response in this show. With that said, I am Chris Knight. This is the Real Review 3000, and I'm officially out of here.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and never forget to ring that bell. Follow Chris Knight and the Real Review 3000 on these platforms. For email and Patreon, see the description box below. To reach the Ego, use the Twitter handle @theego5150. We would like to thank the generous members of the Real Review 3000. Those members are JJ, aka SithLord3827, Anzo of Biggerford Entertainment, Yvette, Sean Stackhouse, Captain Trek, Jesse Ritchie, and Abraham Morales. Thank you for your support and donations that help us at the Real Review 3000 bring you, the viewer, better content. For information on how to become a member, click the join button below.